Welcome to my National Podcast. Let's get into it. All right. Yes, we are live. Happy Thanksgiving. Today is Thursday. It is Haunting Adeline Day. You guys didn't think I was going to take a day off just because of Thanksgiving. No. We have Haunting Adeline to get into, all right? We got a juicy episode to get into, okay? You know what I mean? We trying to see some fireworks between our girl Adeline and our boy Zaid, you know what I mean, as they fight for their lives to get to each other. Man, has it been a wild ride, especially for Adeline. She going through it, bruh. Going through it. Our boy Zaid's in the hospital right now because he got roughed up. I ain't gonna lie to you. As big and broody as a dude he is, he got roughed up, and you know he's in the hospital all injured with his partner, and he's enraged right now because he can't find Adeline. And then we got Adeline. She is captured and hanging out with her captors, getting poked and prodded by shit while they're constantly sedating her ass, and she's just trying to survive, waiting for Zaid. So we are very excited to get into the next two chapters, but before we do that, we have a thread, and this thread is actually pretty interesting, and it is, what's a childish thing that you still do even as an adult? All right, so let's see what childish things y'all be doing still as adults. I still push and ride shopping carts. My wife hates it, especially when I ask others to push me. Facts. I ain't gonna lie, I still do that. It's just fun. It's something you will never get over, if I'm being honest with you. You know what I mean? When you just push the cart and then you hop on it and you just ride and let it glide. And like, come on, man. That's fun. I don't think that's ever not gonna be fun. Let's be real. Hardwood floor, sliding in socks. Why would anyone think they're too mature for this? Facts. I don't know what it is about it, but a nice hardwood floor and you just kind of slide across it. Yeah, man. Yeah. That is the stuff, especially, if you grew up in the time of commercials, if you remember the commercial that had that where it slide in and be like, do, like everybody wanted to be in that commercial when that commercial came out, man. Everybody was sliding in their socks. It was crazy. And if you stop doing that, get your head out of your ass, man. You ain't too grown for that. All right. What's a childish thing that you still do as an adult? Every once in a while, I can't help but run up the stairs like a gorilla. Oh, goodness. Oh, my God. I don't know. All right. I don't understand people who do that, who run up the stairs on all fours. Like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? I still don't hang any part of my person over the edge of the bed because, well, monsters. Hey, yo. All right. Ever since I saw the first Paranormal Activity movie, I do not let my feet out of the edge of the bed or out of my covers, because boy, when I saw that movie and she got dragged out from her foot being out of the covers, nah, man, nah. And everybody knows that demons can't get you when you're under the covers. All right. It's like vampires, they can't come in unless they're invited in. Well, you can't get me if I'm under the covers. That's how it works, okay? Everybody knows that that's how it works. And don't ever tell me otherwise, all right? I don't want to hear you in the comments saying that it's not how it is, okay? That's how it is. You know what I mean? All right? That there wasn't a famous Vine about it, you know what I mean, where he was like, move your covers. Move your covers so I can kill you. Like, exactly. Everybody knows this. This is common knowledge, all right? Gosh. All right. What's a childish thing that you still do as an adult? I can only walk on the tiles in my parents' kitchen in a checkerboard pattern. If I don't, I'll die for some reason. What? I thought you were going to do the whole thing where like, oh, I can't, step on a crack or anything like that because I don't want to break my mom's back and shit. It's funny because like I remember as a kid, We used to do that for fun. But then there was sometimes like in the back of my head, it was just like, don't step on that crack. Don't step on that crack. Do you want to break your mom's back? Don't step on that crack. And I would purposely be like dodging them and stuff, not even realizing I'm doing it. I'm just doing it because the little voice in the back of my head is just like psychotically telling me, do you want to break your mother's back? Then do not step on those cracks. And I was just like, oh my God. I don't know why. I don't know why that brought up that kind of memory, but it just did. The weird shit you do as a kid, man. Goddamn. All right. I'm 35 and I whine to my wife that I don't want to go to school. She tells me that I have to go teach. Oh man, that's funny as hell. Why the hell you becoming a teacher if you don't like going to school, man? Come on. He's just like, babe, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to do it. Them kids are mean to me. I get bullied every day. There's this kid, little Jacob. I swear to God, man. He's such a bully, man. God, I want to pick him up by his neck and absolutely wring his shit. God. Oh, I would hate to be a teacher nowadays, bro. Golly, I bet being a teacher nowadays, I would done catch a case. Oh my God, I would done catch a case in that motherfucker. See, for me though, I would be filming my class. I ain't gonna lie. I would have like a camera set up somewhere and I would let them know it'd be in the syllabus. Like, hey, you know what I mean? Because I ain't about to get caught up out here, in a he said, she said with no kids. Nah, I'm gonna have the proof. I'm gonna be like, yeah, little Johnny, he deserved to get picked up by his neck and strung about the classroom. Fuck out of here. I'm just saying, I'm protecting my tenure. What's a childish thing that you still do as an adult? If my 5-year-old son is being especially clingy and preventing me from focusing on anything, I'll wait until he's happy doing other things. Then I'll start acting all whiny and trying to take his attention away from what he's doing. Hey, son. What, Dad? Son, why are you watching TV? Because I want to. Son. What is it, Dad? Why are the clouds made up of sheep that got pulled through a lawnmower? Yo, nigga, what? They aren't, Dad. Wait 30 seconds until his attention is fully engaged and rinse repeat. Ayo, W Dad, bro. This man said, why do the clouds look like they're sheep that got pulled through a lawnmower is crazy, bro. Is crazy. He's like, yeah, little nigga. You don't think that this shit's annoying? Okay, I'm going to show you exactly how annoying it is. And that's how a lot of times you have to be with people. You know what I mean? Not even just kids in general. It's just with everybody. You got to sometimes give them a little bit of what they're giving you. And that way they can kind of see exactly how annoying that shit is. And it's like, yeah, motherfucker, it's annoying. Stop doing it. Like, man. All right. What's a childish thing that you still do as an adult? I'm a full grown man. Every time I get up to the stairs in my house, I run up on all fours like a motherfucking jaguar. Yeah, we've had that one already. I still don't get that one. I will never stop checking behind the shower curtain for monsters. This nigga, bro. Oh my God. I don't understand why people, when no one's in the shower, they have their shower curtain fully strung. Like, I have mine open when there's nobody in the shower. Like, that way of like, now, okay, I'm not going to say that one. Nah, I was going to say something, but I ain't ousting myself like that. I ain't doing that. It's irrelevant. But yeah, why don't you guys just have it open? Because, you know what I mean? To me, like, even when I'm showering sometimes, I'll be like, soap and lathering my hair and shit. And I always think there's just somebody kind of standing there. It's weird. You kind of just get this feeling of like somebody watching you almost. And it's just like, you know what I mean? It's weird like that. It happens. What's a childish thing that you still do as an adult? I step on crunchy things like shells or pine cones because I like to. You know, facts. Because if in the autumn time when leaves are like piled up and stuff like that, I can't help but jump in them. I don't know why. I just like to. I see them and I'm just like, it's just this urge that comes over you and you're just like, yeah, I'm just going to jump in there. And I'm like, God, I'm a 30-year-old man jumping in leaves. What am I doing? You know, but it feels so good. Afterwards, though, you're kind of, you know, you're just looking around like, I hope nobody saw that. Like, let's be real here. You know, you're looking around like, I hope nobody saw that because that was a bit embarrassing. But it's fun nonetheless. All right, come on, man. You can't deny that. Like, you know what I mean? You can't deny that. Like, all right. What's a childish thing that you still do as an adult? When I was okay, I loved Philadelphia spread, but I couldn't pronounce the word correctly, so I would say Ifadelfa or Ifadelfe. Okay, the name stuck in our family even now. At the age of 24, my mom will still ask me if I want some Ifadelfe or send me to the supermarket with a shopping list saying Ifadelfe. Hey, look, man, I'm right there with you. I remember one time I got a certificate, right? My mom still don't let me live this down. I was just like, Mom, look at my certificate. Swear to God, to this day, she still don't let me get away with that. And it sucks because you can't say nothing to it. You can't be mad at it. You gotta just smile. And you know what I mean? It's like, I feel you on that, brother. I am in your shoes. And you know, because my mom does it so much, it you know, my grandma does it and my auntie does it, and it's just like, all right, guys, come on, man. I was like 6. Like, stop. You know, I get it, man. Damn. But yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. Words are difficult. All right, words are difficult. All right. Let's see. What's a childish thing that you still do as an adult? Opening automatic doors using the force every time. Hey, yo, man. Yeah, facts. Facts. I be doing that stuff too. Cause I'm the type of person that I love like my imagination. I love letting my imagination just roam a lot of the times. And you know, there's some times where I be doing that. I just be, you know, acting like stuff's moving, you know, telekinetically and stuff like that because it's just cool. You know what I mean? It's like, imagine if that stuff actually exists. It would just be dope. Like, life would just be cool for no reason. You know what I mean? I'm like that too. I ain't gonna lie. I feel you, brother. I feel you on that one. I'll be doing that shit too. I'm 30 and I still do that shit. All right. Love it, man. Absolutely love it. All right. Every once in a while, I just have ice cream for dinner because I'm a goddamn adult, and if I can, I want, or if I can if I want to. Facts. That is like the best thing about being an adult. I remember the first time I got like my first like legitimate job, and I got my first paycheck, and I worked at a grocery store at that time. I bought so much junk. It was ridiculous. I was just like, all the stuff that my mom said no to and was like, we ain't got money, or she was just like, do you have blank money? I was like, I do now, and I'm buying it. That was the worst stomach ache of my entire life. Oh my God. I wanted to barf. It was bad. I bought a lot of shit that I just shouldn't have bought. And it was bad. I spent a lot of money too. I think I spent at least over $100 just not even realizing, you know, like, yeah, all this stuff is pretty expensive. And that's probably why my mom didn't want me to have it. And then my stomach ache after that. And I was just like, yeah, I maybe shouldn't have, you know, mixed all those sweets with all those candies, with all those sodas. Yeah, that can hurt your stomach. I see what my mom was, you know, keeping me away from. You know what I mean? Oh, dude. But I think everybody goes through that, though. You know what I mean? They're so used to their parents saying no. And it's like you get that first paycheck and you're like, I'm going to McDonald's. Because guess what, Mom? I have McDonald's money. So it's one of those things, man. It's one of those things. And honestly, I don't think you ever really get out of that in your adult life. You're just like, you get off of work and you're supposed to like cook a good meal. You know what I mean? You're supposed to have some chicken with some veggies and rice and stuff like that. But you're like, nah, a chocolate bar and some chips sound amazing right now. I ain't gonna lie, I be having one of those days. I be getting off work and I'm just like, yeah, fuck this healthy shit. And I have some chocolate or I have a donut or, it just, you never get out of that, man. Why? You're an adult. You're like, I can do it. Ain't nobody here to tell me no. Who gonna tell me no? Fuck out of here. I bought this junk food with my money. Stop it. Oh, man. All right. What's a childish thing that you still do as an adult? When I have to sleep alone, so is visiting his parents or brother, I turn off the light in my room and then fucking book it and jump into my bed. I get scared easily. Oh, oh my goodness. Honestly, like, I've gotten pretty comfortable with it being like, I guess you'd say dark. You know what I mean? I remember as a kid, I used to do that. I would like turn the light off and then run back into my bed. I don't really do that though. I know when I started living with my ex-fiance, she would do that all the time. I would have to like, wait until she's like in the bed and then I could turn the light off because, she was kind of scared of the dark. But I don't know. For me, like I said, as a kid, yes, I would do that. But I don't really do that as an adult. I've kind of gotten used to the dark. And then it's gotten to a point where I'm just like, yo, demons, what's up? It's your boy. If you want to snatch me up, please do. I'm tired of paying bills. You know what I mean? I'm tired of going to work and paying bills. You know what I mean? If you trying to give me a life of relaxation with you, man, like I'm down with it. Who we stalking, bruh? You know what I mean? Shit, you helping me out at that point. Hey, shit. I'd be like, whoa, thank God. What's a childish thing that you still do as an adult? So much nose picking, but I draw a line at eating it. No, sir, not anyone, not for decades. Hey, man, sometimes you just, I do it not as much, but sometimes it's like, there be one in there and it just annoys the absolute shit out of you. And you're just like, all right, bro, I got to get you. You know what I mean? I just get and flick it away. But yeah. But I'm not like, oh yeah, no. I'll try to make it, look inconspicuous or something like that. You know what I mean? But I don't know. For me, I always have really long nose hairs, and it sucks because like the tip of my nose right here be getting itchy for some stupid reason. It's happened on the show a lot of times, and I'm just like, I've gotten only one comment about it though, and they're just like, what the heck is wrong with his nose? And I'm like, it's itchy, okay? God damn, leave me alone. All right? I'd be trying to, trim down the nose hairs, but them bitches grow back quick. All right? And then they just be tickling your fucking nose, and you're just like, oh, stop. Oh, man. All right, what's a childish thing that you still do as an adult? Blow soap bubbles while I'm washing my hands. I do that in the shower, not while I'm washing my hands, but I do that in the shower. Yeah, like when my hands are all like super soapy from my hair, I'll be like, just because it's cool, why not? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not weird. You guys do that. Don't act like you don't do that, okay? Don't act like you be having soap in your hands and you don't blow them away. Like, stop. Or you make a Santa beard. Don't act like you don't do that. I'm not the only one. Stop it. All right, you weirdos. All right, I'm going to do two more, and then we'll hop into Haunting Adeline. What is a childish thing that you still do as an adult? I'm almost 31-year-old girl, and I still play pretend often. When I'm running and I start to feel tired or want to stop, I pretend I'm Wolverine, and I end up running faster with more energy. Whenever I eat soup, I make up elaborate stories about being a mysterious hooded stranger in an inn eating alone in the corner, thinking Aragon at the prancing pony. Inevitably, someone will come over and start trouble, which results in bows and swords being drawn and fights commence. It takes me a long time to eat. Is that what be going on in you women's heads? Is that what happens? Is that why women eat slow? Yeah. You guys just be letting your imagination run, and you guys just be having wild ass thoughts, like what the fuck is going on here? As funny and cute as that is, it's like, I've always wondered, why girls eat slow. I'm like, why do you guys eat so slow? You know what I mean? For me, I'm able to, finish my food in an adequate amount of time. And a lot of times they're just like, dang, why'd you eat so fast? I'm like, I didn't eat fast. I was just eating at a normal pace. Like, why are you eating so slow? You know what I mean? It's like, are you guys just thinking, in your head, you guys are just monologuing shit? Like, if you are, just let me in on it. We could play characters together, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be down to do something like that. Like, if I was on a date with a girl and, she kind of just like let me in on that, I would so go along with it. I would be so down to go along with that. That would be actually pretty fun. You're just kind of playing up characters at dinner. Like, why not? It's like, it would be interesting. It'd be pretty funny. I don't know. All right, this is going to be our last one for today's threads. And, all right. What's a childish thing that you still do as an adult? I'm 30 and I will still occasionally ride my shopping carts both in store and in the parking lot. I probably look like a fucking idiot now that I'm 6'3" and 240 pounds. Man, full circle. We started out with, riding the shopping carts to ending with the shopping carts. Cause facts, I'll be doing that shit too. Ain't gonna lie to you. Especially when the parking lot has a hill on it. Because then I can just ride that bad boy all the way to Narnia. You know what I mean? AKA my car. All right. All right, that's going to be the end of today's thread, man. Hope you guys enjoyed that thread. Hopefully it brought out some childish memories in you guys now that, we're all fucking adults and, we pay bills and have responsibilities that we really don't want to have responsibilities of. And life just kind of sucks and it be life and sometimes. But hey, that's life and life's and, you know what I mean? Money. Yeah. It fucking sucks. But hey, that's being an adult. It's what we asked for. Because I guarantee you, we were all kids like, I can't wait till I'm an adult. And guess what? We fucking got it. And we hate it. Man, I'd be telling kids, do not, under any circumstances, rush to be an adult. Trust me, when you get here, you're going to want to go back. And please, enjoy it as much as you can. You know what I mean? And enjoy it like being normal to like hang out with your parents, enjoy it being, your parents just willing to pay for everything. Like, let that be normal, please, because being an adult sucks, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. But, there's some good times too, you know what I mean? Because you get to eat junk food whenever the hell you want to eat it. And that's fantastic. I love that shit. Nobody can tell me no. I can eat whatever I want. All right. But I'm going to hop into announcements very quick. After announcements, we will get into Haunting Adeline. Patreon.com/MyTheAsshole Podcast. Get that exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenarios to be featured on Tuesday and Sunday shows. If you're an audio listener, go ahead and keep rating as well as downloading the episodes. It lets me know you guys are loving what we're doing over here and you're coming back every week to enjoy what we got going on. And guess what? It's for free. Absolutely for free. If you want to help out even more on the free 99 side of things, go ahead, click on the Linktree link and go to our Instagram, TikTok, as well as YouTube, and follow us over there for all the clips and other episodes and things like that. But without further ado, let's hop into Haunting Adeline. I don't want to take up any more of you guys' time. Let's get into it.
Chapter 5. The Diamond. At one point in our lives, we're all afraid to die. For some, it happens the first moment we fully understand what death means, before depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues arise. For others, it's before they've found something to believe in, whether it's God or something else that's spiritual. And there are those who flounder through life, terrified of the day they take their last breath. I think for some they aren't so much scared of death itself, but rather how they're going to die. So, how am I going to die? Will it be painful? Will I suffer? Will I be terrified? Gigi felt all those things when she was murdered by a man she trusted and likely cared deeply for. When she started having an affair with her stalker, Ronaldo, it not only destroyed her marriage, but it took her life. Only not by her stalker or husband, like one would expect, but by her husband's best friend, Frank Williams. For so long, I was convinced I'd have a similar demise at the hands of my own stalker. Instead, I gave in to his dark perusals and found myself loving him instead. I tried so hard to run from him, and now all I want to do is run to him. During the rest of the car ride, I stayed silent. At least verbally. My teeth chattered the entire way, and eventually, one of the men got annoyed and turned up the heat. An imperceptible amount of time passes before we come to a stop, dread settling deeply in my gut. I steel my spine and wait as both men exit the van, the doors slamming in tandem. Then the door to my left slides open, inviting an icy breeze in. A rough, calloused hand wraps around my arm and tugs. It feels like the Grim Reaper is holding on to me, escorting me to my death. Ow! I cry out, on the verge of screaming from how bad it hurts to move. He ignores me and barks.
Let's go.
That's Rick's voice. His grip on my arm is unnecessarily tight as he drags me out of the vehicle. As if a woman who was just in a bad car accident and riddled with injuries is going to overpower him and get away. I don't even know where the fuck we are. A gust of freezing wind blows, sending another wave of goosebumps across my body. My teeth start chattering again, the cold becoming nearly unbearable. The black sack is ripped off my head, and I flinch from the harsh light. It's dreary outside, but since I haven't seen daylight in quite a while, it has made my eyes sensitive. Squinting, my gaze immediately jumps to the monstrosity towering before me. Rick splays his arm out towards the 2-story colonial home, presenting the house to me as if I'm at a 5-star restaurant, and he's pulling the lid off my tray to reveal the best meal I'll ever have. I've never been anywhere so fancy, but from the videos I've seen on the internet, it looks like a bunch of baby portions of foam and sticks wrapped in meat. So, not appealing. The house isn't as run down as I would have thought, but still not in the best shape. Vines of moss are running up the cracked white paneling, reminding me a little of Parsons Manor. Just not as pretty. It's discolored with boarded windows, a sagging porch, and is that duct tape? Looks inviting, I murmur. Glancing around, I note that we're out in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by dense woods. It looks like they just plopped a random house in the middle of a forest. A dirt driveway trails off through a thicket of trees, and I suspect that's the only way in or out. Unless I want to take my chances out in the wild.
Let's go, it's fucking freezing.
Rick orders, dragging me after him. Rio walks ahead of us, shooting an indecipherable look over his shoulder, before he leads me into the house, straight out of Courage the Cowardly Dog. Only double the size. But I imagine the shit that happens in this house is full of horrors much worse than that purple dog ever experienced. Adrenaline and fear swirl in my stomach, and although there is a heavy weight low in my gut, it's not the warm, heady feeling I'm used to. This is dread. It spikes higher when Rick hauls me through the entryway and pushes me forward. While the air is stale and musty, it doesn't resemble a meth lab as I had expected. This home looks like it comes straight from the 1800s, with an abundance of woodwork, outdated wallpaper, and odd nooks and crannies that make zero sense. I'm standing in a massive living room with brown, cracked leather couches, threadbare floral rugs, and crooked paintings on the walls. The TV is shoved into a corner, Tom and Jerry playing on low and a drooping cobweb hanging above it. Grime is caked into the cracks, and every surface is coated in dust. The deep brown hardwood floor is wonky and uneven and creaks from the slightest shift of weight. I imagine if this place was haunted like Parsons Manor, no ghost could walk by undetected. To the left is a dining area, paraphernalia everywhere. Crushed beer cans, needles, and crack pipes litter the table, along with a circular mirror, a small mound of cocaine on it. Hesitantly, I walk farther into the house, the pit of dread growing wider and wider, like a shark's mouth right before it ravages its prey. It's hard to breathe in here. It smells faintly of mildew, and the entire house is wrapped in bad juju like a scratchy wool coat. It's thick, uncomfortable, and suffocating.
Welcome to your new home,
Rio declares, mockingly. He's been watching me take in the house, and even though it's only been seconds, I've long since grown uneasy beneath the weight of his stare. Before I can open my mouth, 3 men walk in from a doorway straight ahead. It seems to lead to the kitchen, based on the glimpse of a refrigerator from my standpoint. The raucous men were mid-laughter, but the second they noticed me, they quieted. Their movements are slow as they approach the kitchen table, more intent on picking me apart than watching where they're going.
This the diamond?
One of the men calls out, his teeth so black it looks like bugs have infested his mouth. Rick saunters towards the table and takes a dramatic seat, pride radiating from his face. Smiling wide, he says,
You fucking know it is. Max already deposited the check so we can do whatever the fuck we want, boys.
Their cheers arise, and the look on Rio's face is near murderous.
Fucking idiots.
He mutters under his breath. Then louder, he reminds him,
No, you can't do whatever you want, stupido, because you have a big fucking target on your head in the shape of a Z.
Rick waves a hand, unconcerned.
Don't worry, Rio. We'll hide out until the fucker is dead, and then we can do whatever we want. This payday is fucking massive, and not only that, we'll get a taste of her, too.
I shrink beneath their lewd gazes. Instinctively, my arms wrap tighter around myself, but that only elicits a few grunts of amusement.
Don't be shy, baby girl. I promise I'll make you feel good.
One of them croons, his black hair sticking up in several directions from the copious amount of grease in it. I swallow, a lump forming in my throat as my gaze fixates on a dark red puddle on the table I hadn't noticed before. I can't even begin to imagine what that could possibly be from.
What, princess? We ain't good enough for you?
Rio asks. I glance at him and note the smirk on his face, but he's tense, his grin strained. I don't even acknowledge him, my eyes trained back on the pool of blood. Tracking my line of sight, Rio turns to see what I'm staring at. He barks out a laugh when he sees it.
Want to place a bet on what it's from?
My face contorts in revulsion as I shoot a glare at him.
My bet is that some bitch lost her virginity right there.
Rick chimes in, lighting a cigarette with a grin. I bristle and anger rises in my chest. You're sick, I spit, my voice watery and full of so much hate. Rick only laughs and goes back to the conversation between his friends. I'm watching one of them inject himself with a needle when I feel someone charging in the house behind me. I startle and turn to find another man and nearly lose my shit. There's a girl slung over his shoulder. My mouth pops open and his brown eyes settle on me.
You got a problem?
He barks. I flinch, panic rising as the girl's lifeless limbs sway behind him. I have no idea if she's dead or alive. I'd hope this man wouldn't be carrying a fucking dead girl inside the house. But then again, these assholes would be the type to do something like that. I shake my head, speechless, as he walks toward me. He reeks of body odor, but that's to be expected when he looks like he bathes in motor oil. I've never been good at controlling my mouth, but in a house full of rabid men, the last thing I want to do is test my luck, so I keep silent, even as he leers at me.
You keep your mouth open like that. Don't be surprised when someone sticks their cock in it.
My eyes round and my teeth snap shut. The man chuckles from the audible click. My heart picks up speed and I take a few steps back. The fear pumps through my veins, settling low in my stomach and eating at my insides like acid.
Jerry, her room is ready. Extra fucking change this time.
One of the men calls from the table, pointing towards the girl. My eyes widen impossibly further. Did she escape or something? I have so many questions, but no better than to ask any of them. I'm relieved to hear that she's not dead, at least. Otherwise, chaining up a corpse would be... I shudder from the thought. The man, or Jerry, shifts the girl on his shoulder and walks off without another word, aiming one last scathing look my way. Sucking my bottom lip between my teeth, I bite hard as I watch him head towards the kitchen. He's lucky I don't bark at him like a dog as I'm tempted to. Anything to make the dickhead think twice about looking at me like that. But that would be stupid, and I cannot be stupid in this place. The last thing I see right before he disappears is the girl's head lifting. Dark brown eyes meet mine through tangled tresses of blonde hair filled with both fire and ice. The look on her face stops my heart cold, but the creepy smile on her face is what sends it sinking down to the pits of my stomach. Christ, the look on her face is straight out of a nightmare. My mouth parts again, but they're gone before I can register what just happened. I'm equal parts scared for and of her.
Don't worry. If you're a good little girl and do as you're told, we'll keep you conscious from here on out,
Rio says, pulling my attention back to him. I'm not sure I want to be conscious. Furthermore, I'm 2 seconds away from telling him that the girl needs to be admitted to the nut house. But I don't say that out loud, considering we are in a fucking nut house. He nods his head toward the direction Jerry and the girl disappeared off into.
Let's go. Francesca and Rocco should be back in a few hours and she'll come to meet you. But until then, I've been ordered to show you to your new room.
I glance behind me, staring out the still wide open door and at the shiny black van. My brows furrow, expecting it to be damaged from when they ran me off the road. Instead, this one is brand new, not a scratch in sight. They must have switched it out at Dr. Garrison's, and that makes my stomach roil. I know enough about tracking that they would have made it incredibly easy for Zaid to find them in a vehicle with a crushed fender. But then a smile forms on my face, with the reminder that Zaid is coming, and he is more than capable of finding me. Whether they're transporting me in a fucking Ferrari or a Volkswagen from the 1980s that farts pollution every time they hit the gas, he'll find me. It's right then a memory sidelines me, and my smile falls to a dramatic death as horror takes over. Just get her in the van, Rio. Max is already going to be pissed we fucked up his van. My eyes blow wide, and when I whip back around, Rio is staring at me with dark eyes, tense and ready to charge at me. My gaze flickers down, noting the gun in his hand. He probably assumed I was about to make a run for it, and I can't say I didn't briefly consider it. But I'm not dense enough to think I'd make it more than 5 feet without one of them catching up to me, or one of their bullets. I'm injured and can barely stand upright, and I've no idea where the keys are. Running right now wouldn't be wise. And if Zaid were here, he'd tell me to bide my time until the right moment. Don't act irrationally. I can't let my panic and desperation rule my decisions, not if I want to get out of this alive. Licking my lips, I take a step forward, indicating that I won't be running. Max sent you?
You heard that?
He relaxes, unconcerned with my questioning, and jerks his head towards the kitchen, signaling for me to follow. That kind of makes me want to cry. Clearing my throat, I force out. Sure did. I fall in step behind him, the urge to cry deepening as I make my way farther into the belly of the beast. It feels like a bungee cord is strapped around my waist, pulling me back towards the exit. And the longer I walk, the stronger it becomes. He shoots a look over his shoulder.
Baby girl, I don't know what you did to piss that man off, but he has a vendetta against you. You're plastered all over the dark web with a fat price on your head. Max hired Rick to bring you in, and since the guy is a complete idiota, he asked me to help. If it weren't for the fact that he knew where you lived, we wouldn't have gotten a head start and might have had to fight some competition to get to you.
Any moisture in my mouth dries. There's a price on my head? What the fuck for? I guess I shouldn't be surprised because, well, why the fuck else would I be here? The new information distracts me enough to take in my surroundings through blurred eyeglasses. I cling on to all the insignificant details, like the sagging cabinetry, purring yellow refrigerator, and the endless ocean of brown wood and ugly wallpaper. Now he's leading me towards steep wooden steps that creak beneath our weight. Does Rick work for the society? Rio glances over his shoulder at me, his brow cocked, seemingly surprised that I know of them.
No, he's Rocco's friend, who is Francesca's brother. She works for the society, and Rocco and his friends reap the benefits.
Do you work for them?
I do, though I answer to Francesca right now.
I lick my dry lips, then ask, So, who put the price on my head?
It doesn't matter who, only why. Now hurry up, I have to take a leak. And if you don't move faster, I'll unzip and paint a picture on that pretty face of yours.
The disgusting threat does the trick and snaps me out of my daze. Shooting him a nasty look, I quicken my pace, despite the way my muscles groan in response. Ending the conversation is best, anyway. I need to concentrate on every detail in this house, starting with how quiet it is. As he leads me down a long hallway, several doors on either side, I realize it's not the type of silence deriving from vacancy, but the kind when someone is holding their breath, praying for the footsteps to keep on walking by. Swallowing nervously, my eyes bounce around, trying to pinpoint any glaring details, but the heart-pounding dread is making everything fuzzy. How the fuck am I supposed to stay calm and play it smart so I can get out of here when a million alarms are going off in my head, warning me that there is no way out? There's always a way out, little mouse. You just have to find it.
June 14th, 2008. The culling is today. Francesca has not only been preparing us to become goddamn sex slaves, obedient little whores for the rapists, she's also been preparing us for today, where we get hunted like little birds, flying away just to be shot down. Boom. Just like that. Best fucking part? We get punished for it. This whole fucking thing is designed for failure. Be a good little girl. Open wide, baby. Spread those legs. How flexible is she? Let's see if you can touch her toes. Fucking sick assholes. All of them. I hope they fuck up and accidentally kill me when they hit me. I'll be glad for it. Molly.
Chapter 6. The Hunter. Rage. It's not appreciated enough, not studied enough. The capabilities of the human body are no longer limited to the laws of physics. The absolute destruction that resides in my fingertips could burn down entire cities, reduce them to ashes and embers. A simple stroke of a match or a flick of my wrist, and as far as my eyes can see, would be consumed in the same black fire that rages inside me. For now I turn the destruction on myself. My reflection seethes, overcome with a violence only seen through telescopes. Our universe was forged in brutality, and now the cosmos resides in not one, but two black eyes glaring back at me. Your fucking fault. My fist flies into the mirror, nearly shattering it entirely with one hit. Tiny shards explode from the impact, raining down in the sink and across the floor. It imitates exactly what my soul feels like, fucking shattered. I've only just gotten home from the hospital and already I'm adding to the list of injuries, but I'm too lost to care. Snarling, I pull back and drive my fist into the mirror again, over and over until only a few crooked pieces remain. Fuming, I spin, searching for the biggest shard I can find and snatch it from the floor, ignoring the jagged edges slicing into my skin, and then I grab a smaller one with a sharp point before straightening again. Holding out the large chunk before me, I position it until it's angled just right, serving as my new mirror. Using the smaller piece, I dig the tip into my skin and start carving. I go slow, my movements shaky from the tremors racking my body. The glass slips in my hold from both the blood pouring out of my knuckles and from where the edges are biting into my skin, and I continuously have to readjust, creating more cuts. But the pain barely registers when it's so fucking loud inside my head. It's clouded with fury, and every goddamn organ in my body feels as if they're in a blender. My little mouse is gone. She's been stolen from me. And the man behind it is the same man that I knew had a vendetta against her, and I left him alive. I fucking let him go on living, stewing in the anger that I caused. Chest pumping, I dig harder, bright red bubbling from where the glass slices into my skin. When I'm done, I drop the shard, my entire body vibrating. I failed Addie, and I'll never let myself forget it, not with the rose now carved over my heart. Blood coats the bottom of my boots, leaving a scarlet foot trail behind me as I approach Max's house. He finally hired guards. Little good they did when now all 6 of their bodies litter the ground, with bullet holes between their eyes that are staring sightlessly up at the stars. They were snuffed out because they protected the wrong person. I don't care how loved they were. I don't give a shit if they had families, and if they had wives and little kids at home, eagerly awaiting their arrival. Daddy's gone, kids. I kick open the front door, and loud chatter cuts into different versions of what the fuck. Max's house is nearly all open concept, washed in black and gold with medieval decor. He's a rich man, but no amount of money could protect him from me. On either side, 2 large staircases lead up to a balcony that circles the house in a half moon. The man of the hour appears over the balcony, a wild look in his eyes as 2 more guards rush up behind him. His white blonde hair is mussed, the strands standing on end, and when he spots me, that look turns feral, his eyes rounding with hysteria. I cock a brow. Did you rub a balloon on your head? He blinks, and before any of them can process my presence, I lift my gun and shoot off 2 bullets, 1 for each guard. Too easy. Apparently his money couldn't even buy guards that are good enough to entertain me. If they were anything like me, I would have been shot dead before a syllable could even leave my mouth. Max's eyes pop open wide as his men fall to the ground, blood quickly draining past the rails and onto the pristine tile on the ground floor. He turns to run, but my voice stops him cold. Come here, Max. Slowly, he looks back at me, terror radiating from his eyes. There's a particular stink to men who are faced with the consequences of their actions. They're fucking petrified, but only because they know they're going to die. And no matter what they believe in, they know damn well there isn't any chance they'll be led to those pearly gates. Whatever you think, don't insult me further by questioning my knowledge. I cut in, my voice deadly calm. You know better than that, Maximilian. His lips tighten into a white line, but he has enough sense to turn and make his way down the steps, straightening out his rumpled blazer to reestablish his fragile facade of confidence. He's struggling to maintain a calm expression with his fists clenched and shaking and sweat lining his hairline. He pauses at the last step, standing before me with his nose in the air. He wants to die with his head held high. How naive. He will bow at my feet, begging for forgiveness, and lips pressed so far into my boots that his teeth leave imprints behind. Where is she? I ask, my voice cold and devoid of emotion. He stares at me, his throat bobbing as he works to swallow. I wasn't told the location. But you're in contact with the men who have her, I counter. He blinks, licking his lips to stall while he finds the proper response. It's been fulfilled. I transferred Rick's percentage and we cut ties. Max transferred money to one account, so I figure only Rick Borman got a cut, though I'm not entirely sure why yet. On the surveillance cam of Addie's car crash, there were 2 men, and Rick was not the one to drag her out of her overturned vehicle. I purse my lips, the scars on my face crinkling, nod my head, and walk toward him slowly, like a cheetah stalking its prey. A trickle of satisfaction drips into my bloodstream when he tenses, solidifying beneath my eyes. And you're telling me that you have no way to contact either of them? He swallows and shakes his head. Rick disconnected his phone after the transfer went through. Probably to hide from you. I hum, dragging my eyes up and down his form, noting the awkward stance and the way his feet are angled inward. He's seconds away from pissing himself. There's no self-assurance of being in a public place, knowing the worst of your sins were intimidating a couple of women in a restaurant. He's been a very bad boy this time. So why'd you do it, Max? You killed my father, so the deal was off. He spits, fury flashing in his irises. Stilling, I can only stare at him as I process his words. After I killed Archie Talavera, I cut off his hands and sent them on Addie's doorstep as a reminder that she's mine and no one else is ever to touch her. Max found out and started placing blame on her for Archie's death, so I made him a deal. I wouldn't kill his father, and he wouldn't touch Addie. It took kidnapping and recording a video to drive home the point, but he kept to his word. Until recently. Funny thing is, I never killed his father. Excuse me? He blinks, his face gradually turning red. You killed— I heard what you fucking said, I bark. What made you think it was me? His face contorts. Because you fucking said it was, he bellows, taking a threatening step towards me. I do better and lunge in his face, causing him to recoil and lose his footing. I catch him by the collar of his shirt and jerk him close. Explain, Max, I snarl. Because I didn't fucking kill your father. If I had, I would have killed both of you. We made a fucking deal and I kept my word. He shakes his head, breathing fire. You sent me the video of you decapitating my father on Friday. On the video you said, this is for Adeline Riley. Fire fills my veins, every single one in my body protruding. Was it my voice? What? I don't know, man. I don't have a goddamn recording of your voice to compare it to. It was deep like yours, that's all I know. I nod my head, letting him see in my eyes just how much he fucked up. It doesn't take a genius to figure out who actually killed his father. Did you bother confirming if it was me? Oh, my bad, bro. I'll call you up next time, he retorts. I grin savagely. Are you telling me you're not resourceful, Maximilian? Because I am, and I have many resources to make you suffer. If you're going to get revenge for a murder, then you better be sure about who actually fucking did it. He flounders, his mouth flopping as he realizes that he acted without thought. He saw his father die a brutal death, decided who it was based on a single sentence, and sent Addie to the slaughterhouse. Red is seeping into my vision, and it takes all of my control to keep it at bay, to see clearly, because I want to witness every fucking second of Max's death. You want to know who killed your father, jackass? The very people you sold Addie off to. The society killed him so you would betray me and then target Addie. You fell right into their fucking trap and did all the dirty work for them. He shakes his head. How would they know about our deal? And what you did to my father? I don't know, Max. Did your father open his fat fucking mouth and flap it to anyone who would listen? Did you? Whining about how I kidnapped him and threatened him if you so much as touched Addie and Dea? You telling me neither of you didn't go around bitching about it to anyone that possesses ears? His teeth click, confirming my presumption. It's not hard to find out about our rivalry when you don't shut the fuck up about it, I hiss. He grunts as I haul him towards the front door, his feet dragging on the tile and nails clawing at my hand in panic. I plan on taking this very slow with him, getting as much information as I can before I send him down below. Wait, it was a mistake. Let's work something out, he sputters as I drag him down the porch stairs and towards my car. I'll get her back. I flash him a ferocious smile. Don't worry, Max. I plan on working out a lot of things with you, or rather, working them out of you. The bloody scalpel clatters against the metal tray and Max's groans fill the air. He didn't find it humorous when I started playing Bodies by Drowning Pool to drown out his incessant screaming. I laughed the entire song, even though I can't feel anything right now but burning flames in my hollow chest. Wires are attached to Max's chest, leading to a machine designed specifically to restart a heart the second it stops. I built it when I first started in this business, though it's rarely used anymore. In the beginning, my rage towards sex traffickers went unchecked, but over the years, I found the faster they die, the more I can kill. I've killed Max via asphyxiation twice now. The second his heart stops beating, my machine brings him back to life via electricity, where I proceed to torture him slowly and then kill him again. Rinse, repeat. I hadn't even started asking questions yet, too angry to speak. He's gone mad now, so close to death, just too awake to my smiling face over and over, yet I still feel nothing. Rick Borman is who you transferred the money to. Who was his partner? Rio, he answers. don't know his last name." His speech is choppy from the toll his body has endured. "How do you know them?" "I don't really... Connor and Rick were friends. I knew Rick had connections, so I got his number from Connor's old phone." "And how did you know what Rick's involved in?" "Connor talked about the Talaveras possibly sticking their hands in the trade, and he mentioned he had connections to do so through Rick. They never ended up getting involved, so nothing more was ever said about Rick than that." I cock a brow. The Talaveras getting involved in human trafficking would have been a fucking disaster, especially with Archie involved in his playboy status. He would have condemned a lot of girls to that fate. Suppose I did more good than I initially thought by killing them all. "Who do Rio and Rick work for?" Max shakes his head, his mouth curling into a smile. "Rick doesn't work for nobody. He just friends with the right people. I knew where your girlfriend lived, and he knew how to get her in the right hands. It was mutually beneficial." He looks like he's fading, so I roughly slap his cheeks a few times. He grunts at me, but keeps his eyes open. "And Rio?" Another grin. "Who else? This is..." "Don't be obtuse, Max," I cut in, picking up a pair of scissors and dragging the tip against the web of skin between his two fingers. When he doesn't come up with a new answer, I spread the scissors and snip the delicate flesh. He screams, but the sound isn't quite anguished enough. Not yet. I want the names, the people they directly report to and who they took her to. He works to swallow, his face pinched in pain as he struggles to answer. I don't know, Z. I told you I hardly knew them. Only what Connor told us about Rick, which wasn't anything at all other than he was friends with a trafficker. When I saw the ad, I asked for his help, and that was the end of it." "How did they know how to take her?" He licks his lips, his eyes drifting again from exhaustion. "I knew her place was surrounded, so we drew her out. Luke knows where Dea lives, so he paid her a visit, broke in and tied her up and used her phone to lure Addie out. Rick and Rio waited outside of her driveway and followed her." I still, going nearly blind with fury at the knowledge that Dea might have been taken too. No one fucks with my girl, and that includes her friends and family. Addie's been gone for 7 days now, and in that time all I've thought about was getting to Max. It didn't even cross my mind that Dea hadn't reached out yet, looking for her best friend. If I'm being honest, I can hardly think straight with every organ in my body seized by the constant agony with her being gone. "Where is Dea?" Max laughs, the sound wet and humorless. "Last I heard, bro, Luke still has her, reliving his favorite memory with her probably." Fuck. Looks like Max is going to have to wait to die for good. I need to go murder his friend first and get Dea the fuck out of there. I clip the skin between his pinky and ring finger. He clenches his teeth, but it doesn't prevent the scream from slipping through the cracks of his teeth. "God fucking damn it!" he bursts, panting through the pain. I'll keep him alive long enough to get Dea. Then I'll come back and finish off the job, permanently. I don't have any more time to waste on him. "Who was the person you spoke to when you answered the ad?" I push. "They were anonymous. You think they introduce themselves when they answer the phone?" He snaps. "I told them I knew where she was and who was helping me. They told me they'd transfer the money when Addie was in their possession. That's it." I grab his other hand and clip the skin between his pointer and middle finger, purely because I don't appreciate his attitude. "Do you know how many men laid in this very chair before you?" I ask casually, glancing at his shredded face. No, he cries, dragging the note out in a sorrowful wail. "Me neither," I shrug. Lost count. But what I do remember is that I broke every single one of them. Max squeezes his eyes shut when I lean forward, not brave enough to face his tormentor. "But you're the first one to have broken me first, Max. I can admit that. You broke me into tiny little pieces when you took Addie from me. Because of you, I'm no longer a man." I straighten my spine. "Do you know what that means for you? It means I have no humanity left in me, no empathy, no guilt, nothing. I could do this all fucking day, and even when your body gives out, I'd just bring it back again. Tears spill from the corners of his eyes, but they have no effect on me. I'm sorry, man. It was an honest mistake, he groans. I only did it because of my father. You only got a girl kidnapped and sold into the skin trade, you mean? You only condemned an innocent woman to torture, trauma, and rape because your daddy died? My voice begins to crack by the end, and I clench my jaw, struggling to hold on to what little sanity I have left. I'm falling apart at the seams, tears building in my vision. He shakes his head and blubbers. I don't know what you want me to say. Breathing in and out slowly, I regain control. I nod, accepting that response for what it is. We both know there is absolutely nothing he can say to atone for what he's done. All it would have taken was a little research, my guy. Even if you were hot-headed enough to threaten me directly, that actually would have saved your life. And my soul. He snivels, having nothing to say. So I pick up the mini saw and flip it on. His nearly black eyes blow wide, dilated with terror. I've sliced up his face pretty good, but I find there's a much better use for it. Do you know what's possibly being done to Addie as we speak? I question, the buckle of his belt clanging beneath the soft whirring of the blade. He squeezes his eyes shut again as I unfasten his pants and yank them down. I wrinkle my nose. He pissed himself. Please, man, he cries, sobs racking his throat. Snot leaks from his nose and into his mouth, and all I see is a man who's only sorry he got caught. A man who was too arrogant and too stupid to think he wouldn't suffer the consequences for his actions. Don't do this! The cavern in my chest widens, devouring what was left of my conscience. My soul has no place inside a monster, so I got rid of it. She's being raped, I tell him, my voice deepening with unbridled fury. Those images haunt me. Can you imagine by how many men? He shakes his head, his legs trembling as I yank down his boxers, glad that I'm wearing thick nylon gloves. It's all I can think about. I choke out on a whisper. I'm plagued by the torture she must be suffering through, the pain, and how she probably wants to die. And how I want to die. I grab him between the legs, seeing nothing but a slideshow of Addie's torment on repeat. I could saw off my own fingers and I'd hardly notice. They're hurting her, scaring her, making her cry. The blade cuts through skin and muscle, eliciting a scream that horror movies can't imitate. That sound can only be born from the type of horror very few humans actually experience. It sounds like music. Is it the same sound Addie is making? Blood spurts, painting Max and me in crimson. He sucks in a deep breath, preparing to let loose another scream no one else will ever hear. But then he passes out. Pussy. Quite literally now. I switch the blade off, curl my fingers in his bottom teeth and yank it down and drop the now detached piece of skin down his throat. Then I work to cauterize the wound, preventing him from bleeding out while I'm gone. I'm not quite done with him yet. It wasn't hard to track down where Luke lives. The imbecile posts his entire life on social media anyway, except for the fact that he's keeping a girl hostage in his house. They always seem to forget those details. Indiscernible screaming can be heard through the doors of his home. A loud crash follows, and I smile, already knowing I'm going to walk in on Daya giving this guy hell. I slide my pin into the keyhole and jam it, breaking the lock. And then I walk into his house as if I'm walking into my favorite burger joint. Why do you always have to move? Luke shouts from down the hallway. I slide out my gun and start spinning the silencer on as I make my way towards the ruckus. I'm trying to take care of you. When I round the corner, I stop short. Daya is tied to a chair, tipped over on the side with her arms trapped uncomfortably beneath her weight. She's screaming through the tape stuck to her mouth, death radiating in her glare. When she spots me, her eyes widen, and then she starts wriggling fiercely as if she's trying to make her presence known. Can't really see her any clearer when she's right in my face. Noticing Daya's reaction, Luke turns his head, and his own eyes pop open before he scrambles for his gun. I shoot the back of his knee before he makes it a step, feeling nothing even as he falls to the ground with an agonized shout. "Simmer down, Daya," I say, walking over to her. "I can see you. Wiggling like a worm on a hook is only going to rub your skin even rawer." She huffs, impatiently waiting as I lift both her and the chair up as one, untie her from the ropes and help her up. She takes one look at me, noting the dark circles under my eyes and the hollowness in my gaze, and wraps herself around me. I blink, freezing for a moment before I sling an arm around her. Immediately she breaks out into a fit of tears, her sobs vibrating my chest. I place a hand on the back of her neck and squeeze reassuringly. It's the only thing I can think to do to let her know that I'm here and that she's safe. My throat is too tight to speak because, as relieved as I am that Daya is okay, I'm incapable of actually feeling it.
Please tell me you know where she is.
She begs, clenching my hoodie in her grip. I sigh, grab her by the arms, and gently pull her away. She looks no better than I do. Her sage-green eyes are bloodshot from crying, black, straight hair disheveled, and bruises mar her deep brown skin. "Not yet," I whisper, unable to speak the disappointing words any louder. Her eyes close in defeat, but she nods her head. "We'll find her. We will." "What did he do to you?" I ask, bringing the conversation back to the parasite dragging himself on the floor towards his gun. It's resting on a coffee table 10 feet away from him. I turn and shoot the gun, sending it skidding across the floor and under his white couch. I bet not a single ass has ever sat on that thing.
Nothing that I haven't let him do before.
She mumbles. I cock my head. We both know this time around wasn't consensual. She looks away, appearing embarrassed. "You know you didn't ask for any of this, right?" I remind her, shaking her just enough to emphasize my point. She nods her head, though she doesn't look entirely convinced. "Max is at my place. Let's take care of Luke here. You can even release some pent-up anger if you want." I go to turn, but she stops me, her hand wrapped tightly around my wrist.
Don't lose your humanity yet, Zaid. Addie is strong, and she will survive this.
I stare at her, and I wonder if she can see something inside me that I can't. It's already gone. I pound harder. Fuck, I need to do it harder. The answering moans send a shot of pleasure down my spine. And every time I hear it, all I can think about is Addie. I can never stop thinking about her, even as the begging follows the screams. Harder.
Please.
The plea is breathless, but it's not good enough. Please what? I demand through gritted teeth, sweat dripping down my temple from exerting myself. It's still not enough. It never will be. Not until I have Addie again.
Zaid.
Daya calls.
Please.
I look over to her, my mallet suspended over the massive nail lodged into Luke's leg. She looks a little nauseous, but I can't find it in myself to care right now. I've been pounding the nail into his forearm for the past few minutes, and I've gotten it down far enough that it's all the way through and embedding into the wooden table, but it's a huge nail, and there's still some length to go. Luke's moans are full of agony, and his desperate pleas make me feel as good as I'm capable of feeling. Not fucking enough. I want him to scream so loud until his cries give out and his voice box shatters completely. Daya's hand is resting on my arm, her own plea cutting through the noise in my head. "He hurt you," I say flatly. She nods.
He did. And I'm ready to take over now.
I release the mallet, the heavy rubber dropping painfully onto his arm before clattering to the table. His answering scream vibrates through his house. Not enough. I swipe at my nose and turn away, my hand shaking with the need to keep pounding down the nail until the head connects with his flesh. It's been over an hour since I dragged Luke onto his dining room table and started conducting my torture. I found some tools in his garage and decided to make good use of them since he'll never get the chance. Daya clears her throat.
Luke? Stay awake, buddy boy.
I hear skin slapping and glance back to see her roughly smacking his cheek. His head lolls, more groans releasing from his throat. "Please," he whispers, his voice hoarse. It needs to be depleted. Even then, I won't be satisfied.
You know, I've been saying the same thing to you for a week.
Daya says, her voice breaking, her eyes fill with tears, and it only stokes the flames in my chest. She and Addie love each other fiercely, and because Addie is my family, that makes Daya my family too. It's best I make an example of him so others will know to never fuck with them again. Doesn't help that he played a massive role in getting my girl kidnapped, and that is just unforgivable, unsurvivable. Luke swallows, yet words fail him for several moments. It wasn't personal, he croaks. I was only doing what Max told me to.
Max told you to stick your dick inside me?
Daya counters, her tiny fists curling in a tight ball. I hope she fucking uses them. I would only stop her so I could deliver a few of my own punches before I let her end his miserable life. No, Daya, I've missed you so much. Daya closes her eyes, a tear leaking past her eyelashes. I've no idea if these two had much of a relationship past one night together, nor is it my business. But it doesn't matter because whatever Luke stole from Daya, she plans on taking it back.
I didn't miss you, Luke. You know that, right?
She retorts, her pale eyes blazing. His mouth opens, but she keeps going.
Any time I thought of you, it was out of disgust. I should have known you'd find a way to surprise me and turn out to be so much worse than I thought.
Look, I'm sorry for the role I played, but you have to understand that Max is crazy. When I step closer, not a shroud of understanding reflected back at him. He becomes more desperate. Seriously, man, if I didn't do what he said, he'd have me killed. Did he tell you to abuse Daya? Rape her? He flounders, his mouth opening and closing as he searches for the right answer, or rather the right lie. Daya's eyes cling to him as she holds her hand out to me expectantly. I don't look away from Luke as I grab a knife from the table next to me and hand it to her, knowing what she's asking for. She doesn't waste time, doesn't hesitate for a second. She just grips the black handle in a tight fist, the metal glinting off the dining room lights as she rises it above him and plunges it down into his throat. Sharp metal cuts through flesh and bone, silencing his pleas. Luke's eyes widen into round discs, staring at his reaper with disbelief. It's always disbelief, as if they didn't see it coming. Or maybe they just can't accept the fact that they're actually dying. Men like this, who have lived their lives so selfishly and with no regard for others' lives, are always the most desperate to live forever. But they never understood that's what makes them so goddamn weak. It's the people who have no regard for their own life, people like me. We are the ones that are the deadliest. What's stopping me from taking people down with me when I die? Nothing. Not a goddamn thing.
June 16th, 2008. I found a way out. I fucking found it. But shh, I can't say. No one will ever find this journal, but writing it down feels like jinxing it. I'm shaking. I'm so excited. They didn't get me at the culling. Those assholes were boo-hooing because they didn't get a taste of me. They think they'll get their chance when they try to buy me, but they'll never get the chance. I drew a little picture of me and Layla. We'll be reunited soon, and then we'll disappear. Forever. Molly.
All right. And that is chapters 5 and 6 for today's Haunting Adeline Day episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the thread as well as the Haunting Adeline chapters. Hopefully you guys have a great holiday. I will, Patreon people, I will see you on tomorrow on Friday, and then I will see everybody else on Sunday. I love you guys all. You have a wonderful, wonderful holiday week as well as weekend, and I will see you guys later. Peace.